Welcome back to the podcast. Nice to have you. This conversation is with my friend Billy Keels. And I'm telling you, this one felt different, but in the best way. And it was when I visited Billy on his Going Long podcast, but I wanted to bring it over to the Try Life On podcast for you. Now, some conversations that I do on the podcast, they're interviews, right? People that I don't necessarily know, but they have a lot of information that can help us try life on in our own way. And those are just information exchanges, and it's great. And then there are some conversations that happen when two people with similar roots, similar life stages, and similar inner wiring recognize each other immediately. And this is one of those conversations. I've been friends with Billy maybe 4 or 5 years now. Our kids know each other. We visit each other. We are both black men from the East Coast of the United States. We're both around the same age. We're both fathers of two kids, and we're both men who understood that the default path was never going to be enough for either of us. We attacked it in our own ways. We each did the corporate route for sure. We each learned discipline, structure, and responsibility, but we also listened to something deeper that said life could be something totally different. When we recorded this, I was actually in Beirut and Billy was in Barcelona. And that alone tells you part of our story. Two men who started in one environment and chose to build lives beyond what was expected of them. So, what stood out to me the most in this conversation is that Billy is the kind of person I wish I had around during parts of my journey, parts of my own journey, especially in the season I once called entrepreneurial depression, that core 17-year period where I was corporate, military, police, building a real estate portfolio, doing a lot of things. But that phase, it was a lot of outward progress, and outward progress doesn't automatically create inner fulfillment or inner alignment. So you're building, you're achieving, you're producing. In my case, earning financial freedom, geographic freedom, time freedom, but you're still craving conversations with people who truly understand how you see life. That was very difficult for me personally. I couldn't speak to people in the corporate world about what I was doing to earn my freedom because they were stuck in the corporate world. Couldn't speak to people necessarily at the police department about the fact that I was working on financial freedom because that's not where most of their mindsets were. I felt very closed in during my core journey. I probably could have reached out to some of those folks more. Perhaps people were doing different things as well, but I felt very closed in. And it is nice when if you are doing that kind of journey that you have someone who truly understands how you see life. I do now. Billy is definitely one of those people, and so are many of you. He I love my guy. He understands concepts that many people will never discuss, that I discuss all the time, like identity shifts, reinvention, the power of mental dieting, the power of course correcting along the way, knowing when to push harder and knowing when to slow down, the same way that I've slowed down in business. Billy's making some intentional steps as well. And recognizing that freedom in and of itself is not an accident, it is designed. Understanding that imagination, creativity, and belief are not soft ideas, they are life changing forces. So, what you're about to hear is more than a podcast episode. It's two men speaking a language that is rarely spoken openly, the language of conscious creation, fatherhood, freedom, business, alignment, choosing your own path, having the audacity to design life your way. If you've ever felt like you were meant for more than the default script, this conversation is absolutely for you. And I wanted to call it out for exactly what it is. This is not an exchange of information. This is two men who think similarly, engaging, talking about the things that most never talk about. So sit back and relax and enjoy my conversation with my dear friend Billy Keels on his Going Long podcast.
It is a global movement that is making the world smaller, connecting people all over the place. And it's just phenomenal. And so I think about you're in very, very rare air. Like I didn't even talk about the podcast, Try Life On. But the thing that I have to say to you is that you are in rarefied air because most people, most have been able to be here and join me once. It is super awesome that you've been back. This is the next time. So the boys will be thinking, hey, you're going
a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. So those of you that have been here from the very beginning, back in 2020, Maurice and I think Maurice, actually that night you had just come in, you were working at your day job, right? In your 9 to 5, you had just worked an overnight shift on the police force. And I think you'd slept maybe 30 minutes and you jumped on and I was like, this dude is amazing. I got to know more about him.
That means I liked you as a person because I'm not doing it.
Right. That's not happening today. There's been a lot going on. There's been a lot going on. Listen, and I didn't want to give the backstory because I want you to be able to tell your backstory in the way that makes the most sense for you. There's so many things that I know about you, have gotten to just cherish about you. And I'm really excited for those that are maybe watching for the very first time or maybe listening for the very first time that are getting an opportunity to know you. Please paint your backstory, paint it in your words, and then let's see where you and I take the conversation from there.
Oh man, I think the backstory thing is such like a, I don't know, it's such a default thing, but I guess we have to do it. But I always do. I don't start from the beginning. I start from the end.
I love it.
I'm living my best life. I turned 50 2 months ago, month and a half ago. I'm a digital entrepreneur, doing expansive things with expansive people in expansive places around the world. I'm happy. And I am enthralled with the idea of human performance, human dignity, and human divinity, in that we can create our own lives. We can try life on, as you've already articulated. In the typical sense of things, I was in corporate for 25 years, retired out of that in 2021. I was a police officer for 15 years at the same time, retired out of that in 2021. I was in the military for 22 years, retired out of that in 2019. I've been a real estate investor since I was 21. In a lot of ways, I'm slowly moving away from that for reasons we can always talk about. So I don't like the word retire because it makes absolutely no sense. What I should have said is I've migrated from that chapter and I'm moving on to something different. This notion of retiring kind of, from my perspective, died with the baby boom generation kind of thing. I'm a world traveler quite a bit, 100 countries now, but it was not to see the entire world. It was definitely to have experiences and build relationships with amazing people like yourself, fall in love with amazing places like where I am today, which is in Beirut, Lebanon. And I'm a father of 2. Yeah, man. And I just run my own day-to-day life in a way that I wish people could experience, because I think I'm plugged in a way that most will never have an opportunity to do.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, when they are in proximity, intentionally in proximity with you, they will have the opportunity to not only try life on, but do the things in the way that that you share, right? In terms of not just by saying, but actually by doing. I think it was probably not even, I think it was less than probably a couple hours that you've actually landed where you are in Beirut, or outside or nearby, but it was
24 hours ago.
And here we are again on the podcast.
Exactly.
Doing most of it. So, one of the things that I think it's important to, like you talked about, just the different careers that you had. I think the whole concept of retirement, like I used to think like I was going to work until I was 65, I was going to get to go watch and all this other kind of stuff. And then I realized that I could use the same transferable skills that I was building in corporate. And I could use those to be able to do something that I enjoyed doing every single day, to so much to the point that I don't ever want to retire. I don't ever want to feel like I have to go on vacation, because I want to be able to do the things that give me more and more energy. It doesn't always happen that way, right? There's moments in life where life happens for us. We think it happens to us in the moment, but it's actually happening for us. But there's one thing that, because people that know us would think, well, these guys are, they're both doing the things that they want to be able to do, but we actually took really different paths. And what I mean by that is, one of the things that's always been very admirable about you is that you understood what the corporate role could provide you and the utility that it had from the very beginning, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
I was drinking the Kool-Aid from day one, man. It took me about 17 years to actually realize that there was a utility to the role, to the job. I liked my job. You liked your job. But maybe can you just break down kind of how you saw it? Because there may be some people that are just getting into the corporate life now. They've got the big jobs, and it would be helpful if they also had your perspective on
Yeah.
the positives about corporate and also the utility that it can provide.
So I would always caveat the corporate discussion with there's nothing wrong with corporate.
At all.
There's nothing wrong with corporate. There's nothing wrong with government. There's nothing wrong with nonprofit. There's nothing wrong with being an entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with anything. And the old famous saying that I used to use when I used to be on social media was there's nothing wrong with the 9 to 5. It's how you leverage it.
Yeah.
And I fortunately had two experiences when I was very young in life that made me see work for what it was. It can be your passion. It can be your purpose. Being a police officer was definitely a purpose to me. Being
Mm.
in the military was definitely a purpose to me. Actually, I just pulled out my military uniforms from my last deployment in 2016. I just pulled the uniforms out because I couldn't do it before.
Yeah.
I just hung them up in the house now. That was a purpose. But corporate was purposeful. It
Mm.
was purposeful to the idea that I had, which was, look, I'm going to execute their mission. This is a good company. I work for Accenture. I say it freely.
Yeah.
But wonderful experience, great clients, the skill sets I learned, incredible. But I was going to take those two paychecks, those amazing paychecks, and other resources that they provided, like the employee stock purchase plan or 401k match
Mm-hmm.
or relationships overseas and opportunities to do international projects and things of that nature. I was going to leverage the hell out of it because what typically happens when someone goes to work, because the formal school system spits us out and tells us to do this, is we start executing somebody else's mission, and that's fine. But we never execute our own. We let
Mm.
it default out. So I was very intentional about taking those two paychecks and putting them into real estate, but also not taking roles for the sake of taking a role to get a promotion. I turned down promotions. As you know, I turned down the partner track. And the reason was I was more concerned about the experiences and skills that I was getting versus the promotion. So I would do things like take remote roles, work overseas in international locations. And I was told you're not going to get promoted. And I just didn't care. So the bottom line is instead of letting my main career spit me out at the end, when the door slams on you and it was like you weren't there, I made sure that I spit it out at the end, and I did,
Mm.
and it felt pretty damn good. Still hurt to leave. I'm
Yeah.
human, but I
Yeah.
used it the right way.
Yeah. No, and I think about many times like, man, if I would have had like Maurice's perspective on things from the very beginning, you can still do your job. I mean, that's one
Of
of the things we have
course.
in common. Like corporate was really good to you, it was really good to me. And at the same
Yeah,
time,
man.
it was like, wow, you build relationships. Like you said, you get to travel. I mean, I traveled 58 countries. If it wouldn't have been for working at a corporate role, like
Right.
I'm a working class kid from Columbus, Ohio. So I didn't think I was even going to get to California. Little
Yeah.
did I know
Yeah.
life was going to change. But um, so you're talking about just being able to have these experiences. But sometimes people may think to themselves, "Well, hang on a second, Mo, but like, why would you stop? Like, yeah, experiences are great, but like, keep taking the promotions because more promotions, more money, higher up the org chart, more people, and that's what we've heard most of our life. I know that I was hook, line, and sinker, right? And happy
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
went that, but just I think it's a really contrarian view that you say like early on you decided like I wasn't going to take the promotions, you wanted the experiences, but those people that are more focused on how do I make more money, what do you kind of say to that with the perspective that you have now?
Yeah, because we were all taught that we had to get an A in class because if we didn't get an A in class, then we were less than. If we didn't make it to the AP section of school, then we were less than. If we didn't go to Harvard, but we went to University of Virginia, we were less than. If we went to a community college, we were less than. So people go into the work world with this notion of competition right away
Mm.
instead of creation. And what people should be doing is using their job, leveraging their job to create the lifestyle that it is that they want. So why not go up the corporate ladder? Well, in my particular use case, if I went up the corporate ladder I was in the federal practice for Accenture, our government federal practice. I did really well. But I got to, so the way it works at Accenture at the time was analyst to consultant, consultant to manager, manager to senior manager, and senior manager to partner. And then there's different levels in the partner track. But when I got to senior manager, I was like, this is nothing is changing here. The goalpost
Mm.
of what you're supposed to get to keeps moving.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, you would have, think about the promotion lunches or dinners you would have, or promotion drinks you would have.
Yeah.
You have those promotion drinks. The next day you're working, you're like, how do I get to the next one? So there's no landing place. That's the problem. It's this perpetual, I'm going to get to this thing. And I have to tell you, after doing 3 full-time careers, well, technically 4 with
Or
real estate, there's no destination. It never ends. There is no pinnacle. There is no mountaintop. There's no nothing. So you can go after the titles, but I like going after titles as a byproduct of doing good things that you really like to do. Like I got to lieutenant colonel in the military. You know the reason why I left the military? Because once you get to that seniority level, you're coming out of the field. You have to go back to headquarters, rightfully so, because they want to take all your field knowledge. I was a federal agent and I had, we were doing counter intel investigations, criminal investigations. But once you do all that work, they want you to take all that experience, go back to headquarters, write policy to affect the whole agency, which makes total sense.
Yep.
But that's not my lifestyle. That's not the thing that would make me feel good every day. So I declined the path to full bird colonel. Like, this makes absolutely no sense for me to sit at a desk for 3 years. So my response to you in summary is people are just chasing other people's versions of success because that's what they know how to do. They chase the engineering degree because mom and dad said that's the best one to get the good job, or they chase the particular title. I didn't do that. In reflection, what I understand that I chased was a lifestyle and how I felt on a day-to-day basis.
Man, so understanding like being in touch. So this, I mean, it's such a great thing because
Yeah.
what that means to me is that you were really in touch with what you wanted to do, how you wanted to feel.
Yeah.
Do you think, I guess, but then the other side of me is like, there's such this corporate busyness, right? And I'm not,
Yeah.
like I said, I benefited a lot from corporate, but now that I'm seeing also having this other opportunity, there's a lot of times in corporate where you're just so busy, you don't actually have, or you don't make, you always have, right? Because everybody has 168 hours in a week, but it's like, you're so busy that you don't carve out time just for you. And I'm wondering did you ever find those moments, or did it just happen more organically because it was something that was already innate in you?
If the people who are listening go to trylifeon.com and go to the newsletters, newsletter 19 is about our ability to create and protect time. I was very good at it. And you know what I used to say it on social all the time, right? Like 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. was my prime time to create my real estate portfolio or empire, or whatever people want to call it. I was always working on something in the side hustle. But what I got right was Pareto's law and Parkinson's law, or Pareto's law and Parkinson's law.
Yeah. Well,
Pareto says do the 20% of things that give you 80% of the result. But again, school taught me and Billy to do everything, every single detail, cross every I, dot every I, cross every T. Somewhere along the line, I figured out that was nonsense because work never stops, ever. You have to be very intentional about creating the physical and mental space to build the lifestyle that you want. And you're not always going to do well at it. I failed coffee shops. The clubs and restaurants I opened they were okay. They didn't make me a ton of money, but I did it. Some real estate went well. Some real estate didn't go well. Most of it did go well. So that's a good thing. But the way that I had the wherewithal to do it was that I was creating space for it and protecting my time. And by protecting my time, when people were going to the happy hour, just to be blunt, to kiss people's ass, because I just didn't do that.
Yeah.
I saw it for what it was. And what it was is you're trying to get a promotion that will give you a certain amount of clout so you can be like these other people because you are chasing that version of success, assuming that's not what you really want. I don't think it's what everybody actually wants. I think they see the herd going that way. It's the crowd mentality, and then they follow the crowd. No, you know why I got it right? Like, how did you figure that out in your 20s and 30s? I didn't. But what I understand now that happened to me was I listened to my instincts.
Mm,
I was listening to my inner voice the entire time. When I saw a patrol car in somebody's driveway, which is a take-home car, and I was like, I want that, then I did it. When I
mm.
saw people doing real estate and going after financial freedom, I was like, I think I want that. So I did it. So it was a combination of paying attention to what was going on and then listening to your inner voice and letting that be the guide, not everybody else.
All right, perfect. And we'll include that in the show notes as well. Check out the number nine. You said it was number 19.
It's
Try that phone.
newsletter 19 or 21, but
Okay.
systematic or is time freedom possible? I think it's 19.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So you mentioned another thing. You knew what you wanted. Things didn't always work out perfectly.
No, God, no.
And in spite of that, you continued to move forward. Now, a lot of times, and like I'm a recovering perfectionist, right? And so,
Yeah.
going for the AP class and wanting to do all these kinds of things, I wanted to, right? We're products of the same kind of education system, which is you got to do everything perfectly. Right. The reality is when you're going from a corporate environment to your own environment, there's things that are going to be obstacles. There's things that are going to kind of make you feel like you can't move forward. I know you got a real particular thought process as it relates to anything that is in your way, the obstacles. And
Yeah.
what do you, how do you observe those obstacles? And then what do you do with those obstacles?
I'm going to give three answers to that because it's important. In my 20s, what I did was something I now pen as systematic patience. I had a vision for something. I found a system to go get that vision. And I didn't care how long it took me. I would execute in that system until I got it. So when I had the idea to become a federal agent in 2001, and I said I was going to be like Jason Bourne and do stuff on the Mediterranean as a spy or a special agent, in 2016, I found myself doing it.
Mm.
When I saw that police car in that person's driveway in 2004, I found myself with my own take-home car in 2009 because of this special program at this police department. I I had a knack of having a vision, finding or creating a system, like on the real estate side, the condos, finding or creating a system and just executing in it in a way that people in today's society will never do, which is forever. If you can key in on one thing or two things and execute it on it for decades without care of the outcome, it's going to come. Your physical world has to catch up with your thoughts. So that's the first way that I think about it. But the second way that I think about it now is blockers. Everything, it's just you have a goal, and you know my five freedoms: time freedom, financial freedom, geographic, purpose, relationships. You have a goal related to those things. And I say five freedoms because I orient my life around those.
Mm-hmm.
Those goals just have blockers. And the way that I coach people and have coached myself now more systematically is all you have to do to get over a blocker is find a who and not think about the what forever. But it's typically a relationship or a piece of information that will kill it. Great example is one of my coaching students from a while ago. He was doing his first real estate deal. He tried to self-sabotage it like 40 times. I said, what's the blocker? And he told me the blocker was related to condo fees and da, 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 da. We had this conversation. I said, why didn't you come to me first?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because of what you said, Billy, right? Because we are A personalities. We want to get every detail the right way. So he wanted to do it all himself and he just couldn't get over it and stuff. So actually those two ways. I'll stick with those two ways. But that's how I looked at it over time. Just got to get over the blockers.
Yeah, so getting over the blockers and having that systematic patience to be able to go forward it's interesting because I'm thinking of two different clients that have the same thing. It's like, well, I'm here to help you. You don't have to bring it perfect. Like just bring it, and then we talk about it.
But what did that? What's making them want to bring? Sorry, what's making them want to get it perfect? Think about that.
Right. Well, can I answer?
Yeah.
Part of it is the way that they've been trained. Also because they believe that they have to do the same thing and they feel that they're in the work environment when it's actually like a non-work environment. It's helping to help you move forward, which is really, really interesting. Right. So, did you have any kind of was it different for you? Because you're on the other side, and I want to help people understand also that transformation. It doesn't happen perfectly. I love that you said that. For me, there've been a lot of different things that have happened in my life that happened for me, and but But there's this transition that happened in the moment that I went from my phone was blowing up every single day. I was in the middle of every single like major transaction escalation that was happening in the corporate life. I felt like I was the center of the world, to the next day in December of 2021 when I was no longer in the corporate life. Life changed.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Tough, really hard, really difficult. But it's
And
not now.
isn't it supposed to be liberating? Isn't it supposed to be so free? That's what everybody says. The day you're done, it's like free. I want to go with your track because I want you to talk more about how it felt for you the day after, when it was, when you did decide to move on from that corporate experience.
So, but I want to say the other two experiences too. When I left the military, October 28th, I was sitting in my car in Washington, D.C. And at 5 p.m., October 28th, 2019, I was no longer in the active duty side. I switched to the reserves. I cried in my car by myself. It was tough. When I left the police department, I handed my gun in on September 30th, 2021. I walked out of the academy, no parade, no shouting, no attaboy, no nothing. I made a video, a self video, and I said, ain't nobody here to walk me out the door, but I know the people I helped cared. That was horrible. And then when I left corporate the next day, I was looking for my corporate email. The trick of it all now in reflection is your ability to detach, to understand that those chapters don't define you, that they were just a part of you. And have you ever noticed the executives who stay at firms way too long, or let's say people who stay in the military way too long, like they should have got out 2 years earlier, 5 years earlier, 6 years earlier. They held on, not because it was the best thing for them, but because it was an identity that they were so scared to leave.
Yeah.
But once you realize how to detach from people, places, and things, and you realize you're just a spiritual being having a human existence and it never defined you in the first place, it gets easier. And now, even in my entrepreneurial career, I find myself detaching from all the things that used to make me what I was from an entrepreneurial perspective, including real estate investing and opening businesses and even coaching. I'm slowly moving on from those things because I've learned to detach. And once you have that ability, the matrix and status quo lose you forever because you're not defined by any of it. So it just kind of poof goes. I miss it, but I don't crave it at all anymore. It took me some time, but I don't anymore.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you breaking it down. And what I want, what I hope for everyone that's watching us, listening to us. By the way, if you're not watching us, you should check out this background that Mo's got. It's super cool. I'm not even going to tell you what it is because you got to come and check it out. It's very different than the first time we chatted because we literally just come back and I was like, wow.
I just need people to sit down in that chair right there. Yeah.
Can I tell me what's happening? You can't tell them what it is. You can't tell them what it is.
My bad.
No, so you talked about something else I think is important, right? So there's this fallacy that when you finish whatever it is, because we're not going to call it retirement, that everything is perfect the next day. The reality is if that has been a part of what you have been doing for 15 years, 19 years, 22 years, or whatever the case may be, there's a moment where you have to readjust. And it is an uncomfortable moment. It is just that, though. It is a moment. But you also talked about something that I think, especially for that high achiever, that corporate climber, there is this, and I was like, like I said, I wish I would have known you at the beginning of my corporate career. But we were sharing the microphone. So I'd like for you to maybe talk to the person that you've given a couple of different things, but like there is this culture, this climbing culture. Like you have to keep climbing. If you're in real estate, well, whether it was 5 doors or it was 40 doors or it was 10,000 doors, you want to continue to climb. In the corporate career, sales executive, manager, director, area VP, you keep climbing. And then you finish and you do something else and you keep climbing. You talked about the military. What is it about? Like, and what can we do? Like the whole like climbing, why do we climb so much? And is it something that can actually be overcome or level set?
Because we are part of the unconscious collective.
Okay, Mo, hang on a second. Can you just say that again?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but can you please say that again?
There's a great philosopher by the name of Carl Jung. People need to look him up, but he talks very much so about the unconscious collective, which I will say in my experience is 90 to 95% of people on this planet. And the unconscious collective refers to the fact that we are as close to source, as close to universe, as close to freedom as we can be when we are kids.
Yeah.
Because all we follow is our instinct, our gut, our feeling, our emotions.
Mm.
And then when we get put into the system, there's nothing wrong with formal education. Side note, I had a conversation with my dad, who you know is a 36-year educator,
Yeah.
and he called the education system bull. I
Wow.
was shocked when he told me that. There's nothing
Mm.
wrong with formal education, but what you have to do is you have to use it for what it's leverage it for what it's worth.
Mm.
But what it does and what our familial upbringing does and what our friends do is continually purport that moving up is the right thing for everybody, and it's
Mm.
just not. My point is, in the formal system that we are put in, there is a notion that climbing or being number one is always the best answer. And that's a behavioral pattern. And once those behaviors get into your subconscious, which is our part of our body that runs our routines, it becomes patternistic and it goes right into college and right into the work world where we have this notion that success equals climbing. The funny thing is, a lot of people climb without even benefiting the financial reward of it. They just have six human needs, and one of them is validation, and they feel good about it, but yet they've never designed their own life, or they've never taken the resources that they've gotten from that career and applied it to, let's say, having no debt or building a home that truly feels like a sanctuary as a goal.
Mm.
Whereas the goal has all of a sudden become this moving goalpost. And I'm telling you, man, that goalpost just does not exist. And I'll validate what I'm saying by there's a lot of people who still work in my corporate entity or are still in the military. I was just talking to someone 2 days ago. They're still on that climbing rotation, but they see the forest for the trees now and what it is. Like, man, I'm 53 years old and I'm still here doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And they're starting to get it now. So folks just need to be more intentional. But I have grace and understanding for everybody because how we were all raised.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise.
Yeah, and it's I have similar conversations as well, and so it's but I do appreciate you just helping us reframe that, right? This like consistent desire to always want to climb, like do what is the right thing for you. And also, Mo, this is something you've really helped me a lot about. I used to feel bad about, or I used to feel uncomfortable. Let me say it this way: I used to feel uncomfortable about wanting to intentionally know somebody. Like I felt like, well, this person's going to think that I want something or want to do this or want to do that. But actually, one of the things that I've really, and part of this, I'm sure, is because of just the more security that I have in myself. Also the example that I want to be for myself, for my sons. And it's really being intentional about the relationships that I am forming and developing and deepening.
Yeah.
Can you talk to that person who maybe feels a little bit dirty because you want to like surround yourself with this type of person or these types of people, and also how you are helping other people to surround themselves with what they need emotionally? Please.
Well, you go back to what we were talking about before. What I didn't say that I can say now is friends, peers, coworkers, and neighbors. They've been killing dreams since the beginning of time. So the thing about the whole climbing the ladder and titles and things of that nature, you also have your friends, peers, coworkers, and especially mom and dad telling you that that's the right thing to be. So it's very loud for people. It is extremely loud. So how do you tamp that down? And me saying that it's loud goes right back into what I told you before in my 20s and 30s with me listening to my inner voice most of the time, or my instinct. Okay. People have to learn how to do that. People have to learn how to mental diet a bit. And now you just lost me on your question because I just went back to this one.
Yeah. Well, it's more about being able to really understand like how we are being intentional with the relationships that we build and feeling okay with that, right? Like feeling okay with being intentional about the relationships that we build.
Yeah, the way that I've coached people is that we all have a certain style of life that we want. If you want to be a police officer, in my particular case, why are you hanging out with IT executives at 5 p.m.? That makes no sense. If you want to be a world traveler and interact with, as I am, and interact with people, not to go see countries, but to have meaningful experiences and build meaningful relationships, then why are you spending time with the fellas and the ladies that you used to kick it with in high school? It's a choice. Now, not every season of relationships needs to persist. It was just a season. And it's always hard to kind of let people go, but you have to see people through the lens of your own life journey in your own
Mm,
life book. And this goes back to detaching. You can detach
mm,
from people as well. But the flip side of it is you detaching from people or certain things or certain places is also helping them because they may have outgrown the relationship of you as well.
mm,
But just like you, I've gotten very intentional about building relationships, not just building, investing in
yeah,
relationships that are aligned with what I want to be, where I want to go. And I genuinely don't want anything from any of those people. I have a try life on principle called With It, What's in It for Them. I always
mm,
approach relationships from the standpoint of other people and how I can help. And if you
mm,
don't have anything to offer, you're wrong. You do. You have energy to always
mm,
offer people one way or the other. So instead of this corporate, I know 1,000 people an inch deep,
yeah,
I'm much more aligned nowadays with I know 100 people a mile deep and spending time with the same people over and over, like you, right? I
yeah,
came to see you a couple times.
yeah, yeah. We come to see you as well. So,
No doubt.
the world's getting smaller. When I say
Yep.
that, people don't believe me. You live it.
Yep.
How do you do it? And why do you believe that the world is getting smaller?
The world is getting smaller depending on how you approach life and your mindset to it.
Mm,
So I'm in Beirut now. I was in Athens yesterday and I was in DC the day before. It's very easy for me to say that because I consider an airplane an Uber.
mm,
Excuse me, I consider the airport like a bus stop and an airplane like an Uber with wings or a bus with wings. Um, we have this notion that to get, let's say, to the other side of the world is some big phenomenal thing that you can only do once for 2 weeks of the year. But just like I talked to you about programming your subconscious, the way that I've lived my life, I have practiced my ability to get anywhere in the world at any time for any reason. And yes, it was expensive at the first two, three, 5 times of it, but I've gotten so good at it. It's almost like riding a bike. You know, when you rode a bike as a kid and it was tough the first few times you would fall down,
mm,
but a year later you're riding wheelies for a mile.
yeah,
It's the same thing with getting yourself around the world. It's you listening to other people who keep saying that anytime you get on a plane, it's a big thing. It's not.
yeah.
The world is as small as you make it. So I'm a big travel hacker, spend time with a lot of people. And frankly, I have no excuses for anything because everything is possible. So I just go. I don't even think twice.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I love it. Listen, and I know I want to talk to you forever. I get to talk
Right?
to you multiple times, but is there anything that you want to share with me or with the Go Along family that I have not asked you before I kind of ask you one last question?
Yeah, people would look at my journey, especially my own triathlon community, like, hey, he did 3 careers, same time, many years. Then he was an entrepreneur. He worked his way to this time freedom and financial freedom. And don't look at that. That's not what I want people to see. What I want people to see is someone who made intentional choices to live life his way. It was never a money journey. It was
Mm,
a journey related to a trip that I took when I was 15, where I felt life in a unique way. That was in France. And then at 21, when I found a financial book, and I just decided that my life was going to be around having unique experiences and relationships. With the way I was going to do it was I needed financial and time freedom. You don't have to build all these businesses that I built or have 3 careers. You can just make a conscious choice and build to that particular choice or that particular lifestyle. But you have to get really good at mental dieting,
yeah.
listening to your own voice about what it is you want to do. Don't be a CEO if you want to be a baker. It makes absolutely no sense. So just want to tell people you can try life on at any time. And if I can help, reach out. Read the newsletters at trylifeon.com. I leave a lot there. And obviously the Try Life On podcast, there's a lot going on there. And yeah, man, reach out.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. So I'm gonna and we'll definitely include that in show notes. And I would say, anybody who knows me knows Mo, and I would suggest that you definitely reach out to him. Hey Mo, so one of the things that I would be remiss, and I know we're running out of time.
All good. All good.
You were during a moment in my life where things were at the top of the heap. Like you were
Mm,
there, and we talked about it, and
mm,
we went through corporate the movement from corporate to the new life more or less like within a 90-day period. So you experienced a lot of that. We talked about a lot of things that happened in my family with my father's health and kids and stuff like that. And you were also with me at one of the most challenging times in my life, the end of through divorce and through another major ordeal that was going on just professionally. And I think about those moments and the fact that you were there. We could have lots of counsel. We talked about a lot of different things, but some of the things that reminded me or that stuck with me was that those were moments, right? And no matter what you were able to say, or maybe my brother would able to say, or those people that love me, I had to have some really important conversations with myself. I had to talk and say things to myself to be able to get to where I am today, right? And anybody that thinks everything's going to go perfectly, I'm here to tell you that it's not going to go perfectly the entire time. Mo, you've already shared with us that things don't go perfectly. But no matter what happens, no matter how much support you have, there's always going to be that one voice that you have to have, that person in the mirror. And I would love for you to share, because you've been through a journey. I want you to talk to your future self and just share one key message that you know that you're going to have to hear. It's going to be that one message that's going to help you pass through that low moment to get you to where you need to be. But I want you to leave that message for Mo 3 years from now. What's that one thing that you need to hear, that you know that you're going to need to hear, that only you can say to you to get you through that moment?
Yeah, that negative life contrast or less than optimal things that are happening in your life are necessary. You don't want to have a perfect life. It doesn't serve you. You need to have the lows to have the highs. You need to feel the negativity to understand what the positivity is. You need to feel life contrast to know what kind of life it is that you want. If you're in corporate and you're now having these emotions and inner thoughts about, I don't belong here, now just by having that thought, you've now created the answer. If you don't belong here, then you belong somewhere else. So let me go find somewhere else. And that's the key. When you are having those moments of contrast, or those moments where this doesn't feel right, it's actually your inner voice telling you through emotion. It doesn't have to be a voice. It's just listen to your emotions. It's telling you exactly what you need to know, or at minimum, pushing you down the road you need to be pushed down. So when I did see that police car in 2004, and I was like, man, I really want to do that. What I'm good at is I listen. What other people are good at is they tend to listen to social media, other people, their parents, and things of that nature. Man, you figured it all out. No, I didn't. I just listened to myself. So if I'm talking to future self, he's going to run into problems again. And I'm going to remind him, oh, thank God you're having that life contrast, because now we know exactly where we need to go.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Recognize the life contrast, accept it, and continue to move forward. Yeah, keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. So, listen, like I said from the very beginning, whether it's I love being able to intentionally invest more time with you, the family, and I know so many different things that we could talk about. And whether it's that you are building the community and continuing to talk about how you are helping others to try life on in the way that makes the most sense for them, you're sharing through your public service, through your private sector experience, and just actually living life and doing it. You continue to inspire people all around the globe. And I know that everybody is asking me, Billy, will you just ask him to repeat it again one more time? What's the best way that we can find out more about what Mo is up to, how we can find out about what he's doing and any of the communities, et cetera, that he wants to share with us?
You can find old content from me, old foundational content on LinkedIn, although I have left social media totally for personal reasons. But the best way for people to find me and stay connected is go to trylifeon.com, subscribe to the newsletter. The newsletter comes out every 2 weeks. Sometimes I take a break. Obviously, the Try Life On podcast is out there. And then just Maurice at trylifeon.com. People can speak that way. And if we have a detailed conversation, maybe I let them into the WhatsApp community, which is doing really big things around the world. But it's really trylifeon.com, and then go from there.
All right, perfect. Trylifeon.com. His evergreen content, because it's there and it's useful. It's evergreen. And when you do, if you happen to be one of those people who is on social media, you're on LinkedIn, something like that, if you reach out to Mo, even though he's not there right now, leave him a personalized message. Let him know that you were investing time today. And I would highly suggest that you reach out to him. The things that he's doing at Try Life On are absolutely life-changing, impactful. And if that's something that you want, you need, because you hear that inner voice, I would highly suggest that you go ahead and follow that voice, reach out. He makes it really easy. So, Mo, listen, my brother from another mother, there's so many things that I could say and continue to say about you and the wonderful impact that you make personally. Love you to death, brother. I appreciate you deciding to invest time with me, the Going Long family, and thank you very, very much. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me, brother. You've been there for me many, many times. We'll keep it going. Hey guys, this is Maurice, host of the Try Life On podcast, and thank you for listening to another episode. I hope you are finding it useful and helping you design your own lifestyle that you don't need a vacation from. If that's the case, please consider dropping a review for me, whether in Apple, iTunes, or in Spotify. Drop a review, put some stars on it. Give me some feedback on how I can make the podcast better, what information you are looking for. I am doing my best to get information to you on the Try Life On principles, the 5 freedoms, how to build lifestyle, travel hacking, all of it. And I want to do it for you. So please do a review for me. And until next time, my name is Maurice Philogene, and this is the Try Life On podcast. Peace.